Welcome to this moment where we're here to release the feelings that no longer serve us. It's time to shift our focus inward and recognize that the strength we need is already within us. We all have those moments when feelings of weakness, doubt, and fear creep into our hearts. They whisper to us that we're not good enough, not strong enough, or not deserving of love and success. But I want you to know that those feelings are not who you truly are. They're old patterns, remnants of past experiences that you've outgrown. And now it's time to let them go. We all experience moments in life when feelings of doubt, insecurity, and fear take hold of us. These emotions can feel overwhelming and suffocating, casting shadows on our hopes and dreams. In these moments, it's easy to believe that these feelings define us, that they are an unchangeable part of who we are. But what if I told you that these weak feelings are merely temporary visitors? They don't represent your true nature, and they certainly don't have to linger in your life unless you give them permission to stay. When we allow feelings of doubt or fear to take up residence in our hearts, we're accepting them as permanent. We begin to identify with them, believing that they are a reflection of who we are or what we're capable of. But this couldn't be further from the truth. These weak emotions are like passing clouds in the sky. Yes, they are present in the moment, but they are not the sky itself. The sky, like your true self, remains vast and unchanged despite the temporary clouds that drift by. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the understanding that your emotions are not fixed. They ebb and flow. Like waves in the ocean, they rise, peak, and eventually subside. The problem arises when we start to hold on to those feelings, or when we give them more power than they deserve. We forget that just as quickly as they arrive, they can leave. In fact, the more we cling to them, the more power they seem to have over us. But by recognizing their impermanence, we can learn to observe these emotions without letting them dictate our reality. When feelings of insecurity or fear come knocking, it's important to acknowledge them for what they are. They are simply signals, often rooted in past experiences or conditioning, reminding us of old stories we've told ourselves. Maybe they stem from moments when we felt rejected, criticized, or overlooked. These feelings may have been useful once. They may have helped protect us from pain, but they no longer serve the person we are today. Understanding this helps us approach these emotions with compassion rather than resistance. By saying, I see you, I hear you, but I no longer need you, we start the process of releasing them. But releasing weak feelings doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing them. In fact, trying to push them away only gives them more power. What we resist persists. Instead, what we need is a shift in perspective. When these emotions arise, allow yourself to feel them fully without judgment. Sit with them for a moment, but know that they are temporary. They are visitors who have shown up to teach you something about yourself, but they are not permanent residents in your heart or mind. A critical aspect of this process is self-awareness. We must be willing to observe ourselves and our emotional reactions without getting lost in them. It's easy to spiral into negative thoughts, thinking that a moment of doubt defines your entire future. But when we cultivate awareness, we create space between ourselves and our emotions. In that space, we gain clarity. We begin to understand that just because we feel something doesn't mean it's true. Emotions are not facts. They are responses, often conditioned by past experiences. By viewing them from this perspective, we take back our power. It's also important to remind ourselves that feelings of weakness or insecurity are universal. Everyone, no matter how confident or successful they may seem, has moments of doubt. The difference lies in how people choose to respond to those moments. Some allow those feelings to dictate their actions and limit their potential, while others acknowledge the feelings, learn from them, and move forward. It's a choice we all have the power to make. Another key to overcoming these weak feelings is the practice of self-compassion. Too often we are our own harshest critics. We beat ourselves up for feeling afraid or uncertain, which only deepens the emotional pain. Instead, practice speaking to yourself with kindness. When weak feelings arise, offer yourself the same compassion you would extend to a dear friend who is struggling. Remind yourself that it's okay to feel these emotions, but also reassure yourself that they are not permanent. You are a dynamic, evolving being, and your emotional state is constantly shifting. In moments when weak feelings seem overwhelming, reconnect with the truth of who you are. You are not your fear, your doubt, or your insecurity. You are so much more than that. Underneath those temporary feelings lies a core of strength, resilience, and love that cannot be diminished by passing emotions. This core is your true self, the part of you that remains steady no matter what challenges arise. So the next time those feelings of doubt or fear come knocking, greet them as visitors. Acknowledge their presence, learn what you need from them, and then gently show them the door. Remember, they don't have the power to stay unless you give it to them. You are in control of your emotional state, and you have the power to let go of what no longer serves you. Weak feelings are just that temporary, fleeting experiences that do not define your worth or your future. Trust in your strength and know that you have everything you need within you to rise above them. There are moments in life when our emotions seem to take control, dictating how we think, act, and even how we see the world. We might feel overwhelmed by sadness, paralyzed by fear, or consumed by anger. In these moments, it can feel as though our emotions are too powerful to overcome, as though they are in control and we are helpless to do anything but follow their lead. But the truth is, you are stronger than your emotions. You have the ability to understand, manage, and transform them. Your emotions are not your masters. They are a part of you, but they do not define you. To recognize that you are stronger than your emotions, it is important to first understand what emotions are. They are natural responses to our experiences, signaling how we interpret and react to the world around us. Emotions, whether positive or negative, serve a purpose. Joy and excitement push us to seek out what makes us feel alive, while fear and anger protect us from potential harm. However, just because emotions are natural and necessary does not mean they are always accurate or in alignment with what is best for us. Emotions are transient, ever-changing, and sometimes misguided. They often arise out of habits or past experiences that no longer serve us. When we give in to emotions without recognizing our strength over them, we allow them to dictate our lives. For example, when fear takes over, it convinces us to avoid risks, stay small, and not challenge ourselves. It makes us believe that discomfort and failure are something to fear rather than opportunities for growth. Fear tells us that we aren't capable, that we aren't enough, and that we should play it safe. But in reality, fear is simply an emotion or reaction to the unknown. And while it may feel powerful in the moment, it's not stronger than your ability to face it and move forward anyway. Similarly, anger can cloud our judgment, making us react impulsively rather than thoughtfully. It can convince us that we are justified in holding on to resentment or seeking revenge. But when we act from a place of anger, we only deepen the wounds we are trying to heal. You have the strength to pause, reflect, and respond from a place of wisdom, not emotion. You are in control of how you respond to life's challenges, not your anger. Recognizing that you are stronger than your emotions begins with awareness. When an emotion arises, instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to observe it. Notice how it feels in your body, how it influences your thoughts, and what it's trying to tell you. In this space of awareness, you create distance between yourself and the emotion. You realize that the emotion is not you, it's something you're experiencing, but it doesn't define who you are. This realization is the first step toward reclaiming your power over your emotions. One powerful tool for managing emotions is self-compassion. Often when difficult emotions arise, we judge ourselves harshly for feeling them. We might think, I shouldn't feel this way, or what's wrong with me for being so upset? But these judgments only add another layer of suffering on top of the original emotion. Instead, practice treating yourself with kindness. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel sad, angry, or afraid. Emotions are a natural part of being human, and there's no need to resist or deny them. But remember that while it's okay to feel them, you don't have to be controlled by them. You can also practice reframing your emotions. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, view them as opportunities for growth and understanding. If you're feeling anxious about a situation, ask yourself, what is this anxiety trying to teach me? What can I learn from this? Emotions often carry valuable messages. By approaching them with curiosity rather than resistance, you open the door to deeper self-awareness and personal growth. Another way to strengthen your ability to manage emotions is through mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to stay present in the moment, observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we become better at recognizing when emotions are rising and how they influence our behavior. This awareness helps us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It reminds us that emotions are temporary and that we have the strength to let them pass without letting them control us. It's also important to remember that emotions are energy. Just as they can build up and feel overwhelming, they can also be released. Physical activity, creative expression, and even simply talking to someone about how you're feeling can help to move that energy through you. You are not stuck with your emotions forever. You have the power to release them, to transform them, and to choose how you want to feel. The key to knowing that you are stronger than your emotions lies in the understanding that emotions are fleeting. They come and go like waves in the ocean. Some days they may feel like crashing waves, but just as waves recede, so too do emotions. You are the steady, strong shoreline. No matter how intense the wave may be, you remain standing. The wave does not change who you are. It's a temporary experience, and you are far more resilient than any passing emotion. By embracing this truth, you reclaim your power. You learn to ride the waves of emotion without being swept away by them. You are stronger than your emotions because you have the power to choose how you respond to them. You are not your sadness, your anger, your fear, or even your joy. You are the one experiencing these emotions, and in that realization, you find your true strength. Love is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, capable of healing, transforming, and uplifting us in ways that nothing else can. When we think about love, we often associate it with our relationships with others, our family, friends, and partners. But there's another kind of love, one that is often overlooked, yet just as important, if not more so, the love we show ourselves. This kind of love, self-love, is the key to releasing weakness, because it allows us to embrace our vulnerabilities and see them not as flaws, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. When we are faced with moments of weakness, whether it's self-doubt, fear, or insecurity, our initial reaction is often to fight against these feelings or to suppress them. We label them as negative, undesirable, and something to be ashamed of. But this resistance only deepens the sense of weakness as we are engaging in a battle with our own selves. The truth is, the more we resist our feelings of vulnerability, the more they persist and intensify. Love, however, offers a different approach. Rather than pushing away feelings of weakness, love encourages us to acknowledge them, accept them, and understand them. It's through the lens of love that we can begin to see our weaknesses for what they truly are, temporary states of being that do not define who we are. Love helps us realize that there is no shame in feeling weak, and that it is okay to have moments where we don't feel strong. In fact, it is in these moments of vulnerability that love can step in and offer the comfort, support, and healing we need to overcome our challenges. When we approach our feelings of weakness with love, we stop seeing them as a burden or something to hide. Instead, we recognize that these feelings are a natural part of the human experience. They are signals guiding us to areas within ourselves that need care and attention. Love allows us to be gentle with ourselves in these moments, to offer compassion rather than criticism, and to understand that weakness is not a failure, but a part of growth. One of the most important aspects of releasing weakness through love is the practice of self-compassion. Self-compassion is the ability to treat ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and forgiveness that we would offer to a close friend or loved one. When we are in moments of weakness, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-judgment. We might think things like, I should be stronger than this, or why am I feeling this way? I should know better. These harsh judgments only serve to reinforce the sense of weakness, making us feel even more disconnected from our inner strength. But when we replace judgment with self-compassion, we create a space of safety within ourselves. We allow ourselves to feel what we are feeling without attaching shame or guilt to it. We remind ourselves that it's okay to have moments of weakness and that these moments don't make us any less worthy or capable. Through self-compassion, we begin to release the grip that weakness has on us, because we are no longer feeding it with negative self-talk. Instead, we are nourishing ourselves with love, understanding, and acceptance. Another way that love helps us release weakness is by allowing us to see ourselves in a more holistic way. Often when we are feeling weak, we narrow our focus to the specific problem or challenge at hand, forgetting all of the strengths, talents, and qualities that make us who we are. Love, however, helps us take a step back and see the bigger picture. It reminds us that we are more than our current struggles. We are complex, multifaceted beings with incredible strength, resilience, and potential. When we love ourselves, we are able to hold space for both our strengths and our weaknesses. We understand that there are two sides of the same coin, and that one cannot exist without the other. In fact, it is often through acknowledging and embracing our weaknesses that we discover our greatest strengths. Love gives us the courage to face our vulnerabilities head on, knowing that they are not something to fear, but something to learn from. Moreover, love helps us release weakness by fostering a sense of connection with ourselves and the world around us. When we are in a state of self-love, we feel more grounded, more centered, and more in tune with our true selves. This sense of connection allows us to trust in our ability to handle whatever challenges come our way. We no longer see weakness as something that isolates us or makes us less than others. Instead, we recognize that everyone experiences moments of vulnerability, and that these moments are a natural part of life's ebb and flow. Through love, we also learn to ask for help when we need it. Love teaches us that it's okay to lean on others, to seek support, and to acknowledge that we don't have to do everything on our own. This is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. It takes courage to reach out and admit that we need help, and love gives us the strength to do so without feeling ashamed or inadequate. In the end, love is the key to releasing weakness because it transforms the way we view ourselves and our challenges. It helps us shift from a mindset of resistance and self-judgment to one of acceptance, compassion, and growth. Through love, we realize that weakness is not something to be feared or hidden, but a natural part of the human experience. And when we approach our weaknesses with love, we find the strength to overcome them, grow from them, and ultimately become more aligned with our true, powerful selves. Fear is one of the most common emotions experienced by all of us. It can feel overwhelming, paralyzing, and all-consuming. Yet at its core, fear is nothing more than an illusion. It's a mental construct, often fueled by our own thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions of the unknown. Fear thrives on uncertainty, on the stories we tell ourselves about what might happen or what could go wrong. But the truth is, fear, no matter how real it feels in the moment, can be conquered. It can be understood, managed, and ultimately released, allowing us to move forward with greater clarity and confidence. Because fear is a protective mechanism that has evolved over centuries to keep us safe from danger. In the early days of human existence, fear was a necessary survival tool. It helped our ancestors avoid life-threatening situations, alerting them to physical dangers like predators or natural disasters. But in today's world, while fear still serves a purpose, it is often triggered by situations that pose no real physical threat. Instead, we find ourselves afraid of things like failure, rejection, or judgment, none of which are life-threatening, yet they still evoke the same intense emotional response. One of the most important steps in conquering fear is recognizing it for what it is, a reaction to something that hasn't even happened yet. Fear is usually rooted in future possibilities, in the what ifs of life. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I lose everything? These questions play on an endless loop in our minds, creating anxiety and stress about events that may never come to pass. In this sense, fear is an illusion because it is based on imagined outcomes rather than reality. The fear itself does not exist in the present moment. It exists only in our thoughts about what might happen in the future. When we begin to see fear as a creation of the mind, we gain a powerful insight. We are the creators of our fear, and therefore we have the power to dismantle it. The first step in this process is awareness. By becoming aware of our fears and understanding where they come from, we can start to question their validity. Are these fears rational? Are they based on facts, or are they exaggerated by our imagination? Often when we take the time to examine our fears, we realize that they are not as threatening as they initially seem. What once felt like an insurmountable obstacle suddenly becomes manageable when we strip away the layers of anxiety and false assumptions. Another important aspect of conquering fear is facing it head on. Fear grows in the shadows, in the spaces where we avoid it and allow it to fester. The more we try to ignore or suppress our fears, the more power we give them. It's only by confronting fear directly that we can begin to weaken its hold on us. This doesn't mean diving into every frightening situation without thought. But it does mean challenging ourselves to step outside of our comfort zones, even if it's just a small step at first. And taking action in the face of fear is one of the most effective ways to conquer it. Action disrupts the cycle of fear because it forces us to focus on the present moment rather than the imagined future. When we take even the smallest steps toward what we fear, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling it. The fear that once seemed overwhelming begins to dissipate as we realize that we are stronger than we thought. Each action builds confidence, and with that confidence, the illusion of fear starts to crumble. It's also important to understand that fear is often based on a distorted view of reality. Our minds have a way of magnifying threats, making them seem far more dangerous or significant than they really are. This distortion can cause us to overestimate the likelihood of negative outcomes and underestimate our ability to cope with challenges. But when we take a step back and view our fears from a more objective standpoint, we can see them for what they truly are: temporary emotions that do not define us or our future. Fear also loses its power when we embrace uncertainty rather than resist it. Much of our fear comes from a desire to control outcomes, to know exactly what will happen next. But life is inherently uncertain, and trying to control every aspect of it only leads to frustration and anxiety. When we accept that uncertainty is a natural part of life, we free ourselves from the need to predict or prevent every possible negative outcome. We learn to trust ourselves and our ability to adapt to whatever challenges arise, knowing that we can handle the unknown. Another way to conquer fear is through mindfulness and presence. Fear often takes us out of the present moment, pulling us into a future filled with hypothetical scenarios. By practicing mindfulness, we can anchor ourselves in the present, focusing on what is real and tangible in the here and now. In this state of presence, fear loses its grip because it cannot exist in the present moment. When we focus on what is happening right now rather than what might happen in the future, we reclaim our power and diminish the influence of fear. Lastly, self-compassion plays a crucial role in overcoming fear. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when fear arises, to judge ourselves for feeling afraid or to believe that we should be stronger. But fear is a natural part of being human, and it's okay to feel it. The key is not to get stuck in it. By treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, we create a supportive inner environment that allows us to face our fears with courage rather than self-criticism. In the end, fear is an illusion that can be conquered. It may feel real in the moment, but it is not as solid or permanent as it seems. By understanding fear, facing it directly, and taking small steps toward what scares us, we can begin to dismantle the mental constructs that give fear its power. We have the strength to overcome our fears, to move forward despite them, and to live with greater freedom and confidence. Fear may visit, but it does not have to stay. With awareness, action, and self-compassion, we can conquer fear and reclaim control over our lives. But you are the creator of your reality. This simple yet profound statement holds the key to understanding how we shape the world around us through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Many of us go through life feeling as though we are at the mercy of external circumstances, powerless to change what happens to us. However, when we truly grasp that we are the creators of our own reality, we begin to see that we have the power to influence and transform every aspect of our lives. The life we live is a reflection of our inner world, and by changing our mindset, we can change our reality. At the core of this understanding is the idea that our thoughts are powerful. Every thought we think sends out energy into the universe, shaping the experiences we attract. If we constantly dwell on negative thoughts, whether it's fear, doubt, or self-criticism, those thoughts will manifest in the form of challenges, obstacles, or setbacks. On the other hand, when we focus on positive, empowering thoughts such as hope, confidence, and love, we invite positive experiences into our lives. This is often referred to as the law of attraction, which states that like attracts like. Whatever energy we put out into the world is the energy we receive in return. Many people believe that external events are what determine their happiness or success. But the truth is, it's not the events themselves that shape our reality, it's how we interpret and respond to them. And two people can experience the exact same situation and have completely different reactions based on their internal beliefs. One may see a challenge as an opportunity for growth, while the other sees it as a failure. This difference in perspective is what creates vastly different outcomes in their lives. The power lies in how we choose to view and respond to the situations we face. One of the first steps in creating the reality we desire is becoming aware of the beliefs and thought patterns that are currently shaping our lives. Many of us carry limiting beliefs, often formed in childhood or through past experiences, that hold us back from reaching our full potential. These beliefs might tell us that we're not good enough, that success is for other people, or that we don't deserve love or happiness. These beliefs, whether conscious or unconscious, create a self-fulfilling prophecy as they shape the actions we take and the decisions we make. The good news is that these beliefs are not set in stone. Just as we have created our current reality through our thoughts and beliefs, we can choose to change them and create a new reality. This process begins with self-awareness, taking the time to examine the beliefs that are guiding our lives and asking ourselves whether they are truly serving us. If a belief is limiting or disempowering, we have the ability to change it. We can replace it with a new empowering belief that supports the reality we wish to create. For example, if we hold the belief that we are not capable of achieving success, we can begin to challenge that belief by looking for evidence to the contrary. We can remind ourselves of times when we have been successful in the past, even in small ways, and use that evidence to build a new belief in our own capability. As we continue to reinforce this new belief through our thoughts, words, and actions, it will begin to take root in our subconscious mind, and we will start to see a shift in our external reality. In addition to changing our beliefs, it's important to align our actions with the reality we want to create. It's not enough to simply think positive thoughts or visualize our desired outcome. We must also take inspired action toward our goals. This means setting clear intentions, taking steps in the direction of our dreams, and being open to opportunities that present themselves along the way. The universe responds to action. And when we take steps toward our goals with confidence and clarity, we open the door for new possibilities to unfold. Another crucial element in creating our reality is the power of emotion. Our emotions are a direct reflection of the energy we are putting out into the world, and they play a significant role in shaping our experiences. If we are constantly in a state of fear, anxiety, or frustration, we are sending out low vibrational energy that will attract more of the same. Conversely, when we cultivate emotions of love, gratitude, and joy, we raise our vibration and attract positive experiences into our lives. One of the most powerful emotions we can cultivate is gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus away from what we lack and onto what we already have. It reminds us that no matter what challenges we may be facing, there is always something to be thankful for. By practicing gratitude regularly, we change our energetic frequency, attracting more abundance and positivity into our lives. Gratitude is a key element in creating a reality that is filled with joy, love, and fulfillment. It's also important to remember that, as the creators of our reality, we are not alone in this process. We are co-creating our lives with the universe, and the universe is always responding to the energy we put out. When we align ourselves with the flow of life, trusting that the universe has our back, we open ourselves to receiving guidance, support, and inspiration. This means letting go of the need to control every outcome and surrendering to the natural unfolding of our lives. When we trust in the process and stay open to the possibilities, we allow the universe to work with us in creating a life that is beyond what we could have imagined. In conclusion, we are the creators of our reality, and we hold the power to shape our lives through our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions. By becoming aware of the energy we are putting out into the world and making conscious choices that align with our desired reality, we can transform our lives in meaningful ways. Whether we are seeking more love, abundance, success, or inner peace, it all begins with the realization that we have the power to create the life we want. The reality we experience is a reflection of the reality we create within, and when we take responsibility for that creation, we open the door to limitless possibilities. There is a strength inside you waiting to be acknowledged, embraced, and brought to the surface. This strength is not about physical power or dominance over others. It is a quiet inner force that lies at the core of who you truly are. It's the strength that emerges when life throws its hardest challenges at you, when everything seems to be falling apart, and yet somehow you find the will to keep going. Embracing your true strength means recognizing that no matter what happens in life, you have the power within to overcome, to rise, and to grow stronger than ever before. Many people misunderstand what true strength looks like. They think it's about being tough, never showing vulnerability, or constantly pushing forward without ever taking a break. But real strength is not about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about facing the reality of your situation with courage, even when it's difficult. It's about being honest with yourself and others, allowing yourself to feel the full range of emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, without letting those emotions control you. When you embrace your true strength, you understand that vulnerability is not weakness. It's a sign of courage, because it means you're willing to face your emotions head on and work through them, rather than running away or suppressing them. One of the greatest acts of strength is self-awareness, the ability to look within yourself, acknowledge your own limitations and fears, and take responsibility for your life. So often we look outside of ourselves for validation, approval, or solutions to our problems, but true strength comes from realizing that everything you need is already inside you. The answers to your questions, the solutions to your challenges, and the resilience to bounce back from adversity are all within your reach. It's just a matter of trusting yourself and believing in your own power. This inner strength does not depend on external circumstances. It remains constant even when everything around you is chaotic. Life will inevitably bring challenges, and sometimes those challenges will be overwhelming. But in those moments, it's essential to remember that your strength is not measured by whether or not you face difficulties. It's measured by how you respond to them. When life tests you, when things don't go as planned, that is when your true strength comes to the forefront. You may not always feel strong, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. True strength also involves resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks and keep going, no matter how many times you fall. It's easy to feel strong when everything is going well, but the real test of strength comes when life gets tough. Resilience is what allows you to pick yourself up after a failure, dust yourself off, and try again. It's what keeps you going when you're tempted to give up. Every time you face adversity and choose to persevere, you are embracing your true strength. And each time you do, that strength grows. Another important aspect of embracing your strength is learning to trust yourself. So often we doubt our own abilities and look to others for guidance or approval. But deep down, you already know what you need to do. You have an inner wisdom that can guide you through life's challenges if only you're willing to listen. Trusting yourself means tuning out the noise of the outside world, the opinions of others, societal expectations, and the pressure to conform, and instead following your own intuition. Your intuition is a powerful tool, and when you trust it, you tap into a deep well of inner strength that can carry you through any situation. To fully embrace your true strength, you must also let go of the idea that you have to be perfect. Perfection is an illusion, and striving for it only leads to frustration and self-doubt. True strength is not about being flawless, it's about being real. It's about accepting yourself as you are, flaws and all, and knowing that you are enough just as you are. When you embrace your imperfections and stop trying to meet impossible standards, you free yourself from the pressure to perform or prove yourself to us. This, in turn, allows you to tap into your authentic strength, the kind that comes from within, not from external validation. Embracing your true strength also means being kind to yourself. Often we are our own harshest critics, constantly judging ourselves for not being good enough or for making mistakes. But true strength is about showing yourself compassion. It's about recognizing that you are human, and like all humans, you will stumble from time to time. Instead of beating yourself up, embrace the opportunity to learn and grow from your experiences. Strength is not about being invulnerable. It's about being able to bounce back from difficulties with grace and self-compassion. Lastly, embracing your true strength means acknowledging the support and love you have from others. Strength does not exist in isolation. It's okay to lean on others when you need to, and it's okay to ask for help. In fact, recognizing when you need support and reaching out for it is a sign of strength, not weakness. We are all interconnected, and part of embracing your true strength is understanding that you don't have to carry your burdens alone. Whether it's a close friend, family member, or mentor, there are people in your life who can offer support, encouragement, and wisdom when you need it most. In conclusion, embracing your true strength is about recognizing that you are far more powerful than you often give yourself credit for. It's about trusting yourself, showing vulnerability, and persevering through life's challenges. True strength is not about being invincible. It's about being real, resilient, and compassionate with yourself. When you embrace your inner strength, you unlock a well of power and potential that can carry you through any situation. You are capable of far more than you know. And when you tap into that inner strength, you can create a life that reflects your true power and purpose.